you who may not know who I am, my name is Candice Mama. I am one of the Real Success co-hosts. My co-pilot is not on the session with me. I'm riding solo, as the kids would say. So let me know in the chats your name and where you are calling in from. So we've got Bia from the UK. Rashina, you say it's two of the 22. Yes, it is an auspicious day in my opinion. But then again, I believe in the stars and the universe and all of that kind of stuff. So I think today's a very special day, which means the knowledge you're going to learn is incredibly special. And Erica from Austin, hello. Abba from, where are you, Abba? I lost you, sorry. So Simone from Trinidad, Amanda from, oh goodness, I'm going to need to slow these chats down. You guys are going in. So we've got Georgia, Jocelyn, hello. We've got Melissa from Jamaica. Blessings to all, says Julia. Kavona from Maryland. Jane from Canada, hello. Lashana from Trinidad and Tobago. We've got Renee from Qatar. Karen from Jamaica. Max from Singapore. And we have got Sandra from the United States, Stephanie from Florida, Oshana from Jamaica, Beauty from South Africa, and we've got Yolanda from Jamaica, lots of Jamaica in the house, Donna from the UK, Fiesha Samuel from Ethiopia, we've got Serbia in the house. Rosemary, happy birthday to you. I would sing the Stevie Wonder version, but I am not a good singer and I will not let you enjoy that for your birthday. So what I need you guys to do for me is go get a notepad, go get something that you can write with, and go, because I don't want you getting up from the session. And I also don't want you to have to type notes on your phone, because we all know our phones can be distractions. So make sure you've got something to write with and a pen. Let's go. Once you have that, I want you to get something that's going to keep you hydrated during the session. So I've got my water bottle here. It allows me to drink I think it's 2 liters, well, 1.2 liters of water a day. This is my second bottle. Don't worry, I refilled it. So make sure you've got everything. Once you have everything on you, tell me you are ready in the chat. Let's see. Desmond, are you ready? Natasha, Simone, thank you very much. Tanya, are you ready? Natasha, are you ready? Let's go. Roxanne, thank you, girl. Aliu from Liberia, are you guys ready? Okay. It looks like a lot of readies in the house. And we've got birthdays in the house, which means it's going to be a brilliant birthday if you're starting it with Peter Sage. So Peter Sage is a personal development maestro, having transformed the lives of tens of thousands of people from around the world. He was trusted and taught alongside the legendary Tony Robbins for 15 years. His no-nonsense approach will take you on a journey of self-discovery that will keep you having light bulb moments. He is the go-to personal development teacher for real success because of his transformational work, from working with the everyday person to royalty. And here to celebrate most of your birthdays with you is Peter Sage.
It's Peter Sage indeed, says he, looking for the right microphone button. And for that, there we go. Where am I? Here I am in the house. Thank you, Candice. Hi, guys. Just teasing you there a little bit. So, yeah, give me a yes, a big fat yes in the chat if you can hear me and see me. That's going to be important to where we take this today. I can promise you that. So, yeah, just give me, I know we've got a little bit of a delay just on how the software works. So I'm going to wait for the first yeses to come in. We've got Valerie. Valerie was the first to the keyboard there. Well done. We may have some prizes and things to play with you guys later. So, yeah, absolute pleasure to be here. I can promise you we're going to have an absolute blast. And you guys obviously heard, well, I saw the poll. Vast majority of you heard me over the weekend. So my question for you is, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the Real Success Summit? I mean, are the speakers amazing? Absolutely. I don't mean just me, says he, as humbly as he can. But no, I mean, yeah, they focus on bringing you the best people in the world. Now, I've got another question for you guys. How many of you learned something this weekend? In fact, how many of you even took advantage of some of the new pathways that were open to you to be able to act on, to create and carve out a new path for your life based upon some of the opportunities there, based on some of the notes that you took, etc. So the reason why I'm so excited to share what I'm going to be sharing with you today is the most popular trainings that I do for my clients is really to help you understand that when it comes to applying what you've learned, this is where the rubber hits the road. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But to begin with, I want you to share in the chat for me. Share with me, what is your intention? What's one thing you would like to take away from today? Because if you tell your brain what to look for, it usually goes and does it. Like if you're walking through a forest, you can just have a nice walk through the forest. But if you tell your brain, I'm looking for a specific bird or flower, it transforms that walk into something where you've got this incredible machine that is filtering, looking at, assessing all kinds of data that's coming in through the lens of what is relevant to you. So what I'd like to do, guys, is before we start, just throw in the chat, and it's my benefit, your benefit, everybody's benefit, but more importantly for your brain's benefit, because it's constantly asking the question, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Let me go to work for you. What do you want? So throw in the chat for me of the next 10, 15 seconds, something that if you could get out of today, one thing to walk away with, what would it be? Yeah, I'm going to see what comes in. It says money, right? You don't want money. Yeah, you want what you think money gives you. Whether that's freedom, significance, certainty, or what have you. But yeah, let's keep it coming, guys, because I want to make you think. Yeah, this is going to be a two-way deal here. I'm going to need some interaction with you guys to make this work. So while you do that, I'm also going to set up my screens here so that I can see everything I need to see. Let me go here. Let me go here. Let me go. Okay, right now I'm going to play with. How does that work? Yeah, that could work. Yeah, marvelous. Where are you? There. I'm just having a look here. Let's have a look. Motivation, wealth, freedom, self-love, self-care, beginning the journey to find myself. My goodness. Where do you hide yourself if you can't find yourself? That's a great question to ask. Maintain calm in the face of crisis. Great one, Karen. Thank you for that. Confidence beyond measure. Oh, Jane, you're going to learn a lot today. Yeah, in fact, I'll give you a little freebie here. I don't want to turn this off to distraction, but yeah, there's so much that I want to share with you guys. Confidence is the flip side to the coin of insecurity. If you want confidence, it's usually because you want to swing the pendulum further away from the level of shy. Yeah, and we all know what shy is. Shy is, please don't let you discover me because I'm scared of your judgment. That's it. Sorry, shy people, but just called you out on it. But it is, and I'm not mitigating the fact that the emotions you feel are terrible because you're afraid of that level of judgment / rejection or disapproval, disconnection. But confidence, when you get to a certain place of self-mastery, you don't need confidence. Why? Because as I said, confidence is the flip side to the coin of insecurity, but it's still the same coin. In other words, when you have nothing to defend, nothing to conquer, and nothing to prove, you don't need confidence. You just show up because you know. How many people resonate with that? Now, on that note, before we get into today's content, guys, I want to encourage you to play a game with me. This is going to train your brain to pay attention to things. And that is to play a game of bingo. Bingo is not the kind of bingo where you fill in all the different squares and the first person to get a full house or a lion gets a cuddly toy. That's not the game we're playing here. You didn't show up today for that one. But we are going to play aha bingo, which means that whenever you get an aha moment, a wow, oh my God, a jaw drop, an insight, a bang on the head, something that rings your bell, I want you to put bingo and have a bingo moment in the chat. And the reason for that is because you really want to be able to tell your brain that, well, that was important. Because if it passes by on this journey over the next 90 minutes or so that we have, then you're going to be, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be entertained. You're going to have some insights. But unless you say, boom, baby, now that resonates with me, then your brain sits up and says, whoa, hang on, what was that? Pay attention. Oh, wow. And it goes deeper into your level of learning. Does that make sense? For some of you, that may have been a bingo moment. But let's have some bingo stuff from you guys because it'll keep you engaged. Now, let's get to the tech portion of the day. I am going to press some buttons here where I am going to share my screen. And I'm going to share this particular screen. Now, guys and girls, and I say guys, it's guys in the both gender things. Don't pull me up on stuff like that. But can you see on the screen here that says Secrets to Self-Mastery, how to finally, yes, finally, end self-sabotage and procrastination while unleashing your potential, tripling your results in half the time and exploding your income. If you can see that and that's all good, then we are live and we are going to get busy with it, ladies and gentlemen. Because one thing that I really want to set you up with today is some value, right? And I really want to move forward on that because you showed up. You are one of the few people, I say few people, we've got about 70% of the people that registered showing up. That's a really good number. Normally it's 50. So thank you for being in that top 70%. And those that stay to the end, you can also, jack another notch on that because not everybody does. Some people will make excuses. We're going to learn about that as to why they should drop off. But we're going to get to that in a moment. So you may think that, has this guy had too much coffee today? He's talking fast. A couple of reasons for that. One is that I want to get as much information to you today as possible. I also know that information doesn't equal transformation. Have you noticed that? So we're going to be covering a lot of information, but I'm going to chunk it into 5 key concepts. So make sure you're taking notes. Make sure you're playing bingo. Make sure you're staying with me. Make sure you put a sign on your door that says, do not disturb unless you're bleeding and go to casualty first, right? Because this is your future we're talking about, guys. This is your potential. Everyone's talking about, oh, follow your passion. Well, no, don't follow your passion because people very rarely are able to separate passion from emotional comfort in the moment, right? So don't follow your passion, follow your potential. And over the next 90 minutes, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. I'm going to teach you how to do that in a way that really unlocks all of the stuff I'm promising here on our first slide. So if that, let's have a little look, resonates and you are ready to go and throw a lead on this puppy, guys, let's get ready to rumble. Let's pull up here. Here we go. And we're going to go. Excellent. Right, let me get rid of you to here. Perfect. So we are set. Now, first question for you. How do you know that this is for me? Where are we? Hang on. Let me get my right slide. There we go. How do you know that this is for me? Would that be something good to know? Well, this has been really put together with a lot of thought, effort, and experience, guys, because I want to solve a very specific problem for a specific kind of person. So you may as well just find out if it's you now, because if it isn't you, then hey, yeah, let's go back to Netflix or whatever else we were robbing our potential with. But I want you to give me some interaction here, because if this is for you, you're going to want to clear distractions. So let's find out who it's for. This masterclass is for anybody who is looking to achieve more, which is everybody, but you seem to be stuck in kind of a holding pattern. Income or success, or you're a feast-famine kind of person. You've got bursts of success and then you don't really sustain it. Or how about anyone who's procrastinated, self-sabotaged, and we all do it. So not just wondered why, but you want to know how to finally break free of it. Or, and this is something that I've got a real issue within the personal growth industry. If you ever spent money on online courses, attended workshops, read books, you put in the time and effort, but it still didn't get you big goals or the lasting change that was promised. You'll find out why on that today. Because if any of that resonates, this is going to be an incredible hour to 90-minute web class and use of your time. This will be the thing that you've been looking for, guys. Because in a packed session, you're going to learn some incredible stuff where I'm going to show you exactly how you can become much more effective, profitable, fulfilled, generate more income in less time with less struggle, or what I call OPD. OPD stands for other people's drama. Anyone tired of other people's drama? Yeah, we're too busy trying to create the movie role that we want to star in as the star of our own movie in some action, comedy, adventure, love story. And everybody else that's starring in their own soap opera tries to enroll us as an unpaid film extra. Yeah, well, enough of that. How to stop getting in your own way and unconsciously sabotaging success. And you're going to uncover one of the main blocks to financial freedom that you're never going to solve by working harder. Right, guys, you don't dig your way out of a hole. Right? It doesn't happen that way. right? In fact, by the time we finish today, I'm going to guarantee that you're going to learn aspects of success and personal growth that most people will go to their grave never knowing. No matter what courses you buy, what books you read, all of that stuff. You're also going to find out the real reason why people fail and why it's predictable unless you apply what you're about to learn. And lastly, one of the best reasons to be on here today is because you'll finally realize why over 95%, big number guys, of the money that you spend in self-help, including some of the money you spent this weekend, is never going to produce the results you're looking for unless you apply, again, what you look today, because that alone is going to save you a fortune. And let's be honest, you guys aren't newbies. You've probably already tried several things that haven't produced the results you want. Am I right? So let me show you a better way on how to do this. Because my promise to you is that by the end of this session, you're going to learn a powerful 5-step formula that'll conquer self-doubt, reduce stress, guarantee more financial abundance, and show you how to finally get any goal you set in minimum time. Now, you're also going to learn what stops you, and that's going to blow your mind. Though there's something I need to say right up the front. I know there's a lot of these classes. This isn't your first. I want to make sure I respect your time today because you could be everywhere and anywhere right now, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. So I want to have you hold me accountable. When I say this will be one of the best, if not the best, most eye-opening web classes you'll ever experience. I'm not going to hold anything back. You're going to learn immediately applicable, faster, smarter, easier ways to get what it is you want. And then at the end, if I serve you and I blow your mind, and only if I've blown your mind, guys, I'll do a quick share on some further resources that may help you even more. Does that sound fair? Now, again, let me know you're cool with that. Type a quick yes into the chat. And guys, this isn't one of those bait and switch deals. Yeah, we've all been there. Now, I want to know that even if you never see or hear from me again, I'm going to add a ton of value to you today. But for some of you, you may have a look at some of the other stuff that I'm going to share briefly at the end, and it may be the perfect timing. And I've certainly got an amazing deal for you guys. And I'm also going to give you something that even if that isn't for you, if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you something free that every one of you can take home that's going to blow your mind as well. As I said, talk is cheap. So let me deliver for you on my side with not only a great training, but also some special surprises, because I've got some gifts for you guys. Now, the only thing that I ask, as I say, is if you stay to the end. And the reason for that is because, again, I want to train and reward your brain for making better decisions and for sticking with your commitments, because most of the time we talk ourselves out of stuff that would actually do us good. So we may as well start now, today. You're here anyway. Remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you can't honor a simple commitment to yourself to cross the finish line on a training that you clearly want to learn from, especially one that's going to show you how to outgrow patterns of distraction, you may as well quit now. But I know you guys didn't come here today to demonstrate being a failure at that. You came to win. So can I please have your agreement that for this training, you're going to stay to the end? Because if you do, you are going to get an amazingly powerful training. You're going to get some special free gifts, like, the ones I've got ready for you, and some other surprise bonuses that I'm excited to reveal. You're going to get a live Q&A at the end. And for those that stay, I'm also going to send you a full copy of these slides as well. How does that sound? So you don't have to try and scribble everything down in advance. Relax. I've got you back. Right? I'll let you have those as well. Now, before we get going, few house rules to manage expectations. 4 quick little rules. 1, this isn't a magic pill. They don't exist. Yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk was a fairy tale. Now, the 5 shifts I'm going to share with you can work like a magic pill, but it does require you to shift gears in a way that you may not have done before. So please pay attention. Second, as I've mentioned, this isn't work harder, get more done. Run away from those deals, because what they try to do is blame you for not doing enough. And that's just bullshit. Sorry. And, am I allowed to swear, by the way? Right? I hope so, because sometimes if I get excited or if I get angry about other people trying to rip you off, then, I may let one little word slip. So it's not an R18 webinar, but, if one little word comes out, forgive me. Third, synergy is your friend. You're about to learn 5 incredibly powerful concepts. Each of these can help you transform. I promise you. Pick any one of the 5, you're ahead of the game. But if you combine these together, boom, 1 + 1 + 1 is 111, guys. The effect is exponential. And finally, as I've mentioned, capture and share your bingo moments. It'll help avoid patterns of distraction. As I say, you don't have to worry about writing stuff down on the screen. Worry about paying attention to stuff that is relevant to you. So before we get going and get into the good stuff, let me just check in with you, because again, this is about reminding your brain why you're here. So please interact with me here, guys. Be honest. Does this sound like you? And if it does, own it. If it doesn't, no big deal. You're putting in the effort, but you kind of seem stuck at the same level. And that shows up like, trying different opportunities, but always making the same kind of money. Or having the same relationship, but with different people. Or how about you find yourself procrastinating, meaning you know what to do, you're just not doing what you know. And instead, you become an expert in the art of distraction, also known as being busy but unsuccessful. How many have experienced that feeling? Says he with his hand up. And are you watching other people reach their goals and think, hang on a freaking minute, what are they doing that I'm not? Yeah, they're no smarter, they're no luckier, they're no... Well, what's missing? Is this resonating? Type yes if you agree. Or how about you kind of start doing well, but then for some reason you just begin to self-sabotage, you become your own worst enemy. Or, anyone had this one? Do you ever have that little voice of self-doubt? Yeah? The one that starts to question if you're good enough or if you've really got what it takes. And guys, you're going to know exactly where that voice comes from, specifically by the end of this training. And then you try different approaches and coaches and going from one shiny object to the next, hoping this time it's going to change, but it's just like Groundhog Day. And ultimately, and this was a big one for me, do you secretly fear that despite all your hard work and effort, the main difference in your life 10 years from now is just going to be the number of candles on the cake? Still resonating? Well, if any of that sounds like you, I've got some great news today. None of those are the real problem. They're the distractions to the real problem. The real problem is you haven't made what I call the shifts. And of course, we're going to talk about all of those in a second, but please understand that once you make these 5 shifts, you are instantly going to start to feel more purpose-driven and inspired. Your entire relationship to money will be upgraded and you'll start to see more of it show up. You'll now be able to set goals with the certainty of knowing that you can and will follow through no matter what life throws at you, because it's going to throw stuff. Have you figured that out yet? You're also going to be able to totally eradicate self-sabotage and procrastination so you can succeed faster without getting in your own way. And you'll also be able to show up, and I love this, if this resonates, you'll be able to show up as what I call being unapologetically authentic. Yes, those of you that are still trying to fit into everybody else's approval strategy, take note. And you'll do it in a way where people will actually trust you more because they can feel your integrity. Because who do you want to do business with? Somebody who's trying to fit in and be a yes person, or somebody who doesn't need the good approval of other people, or the good opinion of other people in order to walk their truth? That's who you want to do business with. You're going to start walking with an air of confidence and energy that people who know you are going to comment on. That's what I want to bring to the table for you guys in the next hour. But before we go any further, I want to give 2 seconds, introduce myself, because some of you haven't seen me before. Some of you, it was the first time you saw me on Friday. Let me just give the left brain doubting part of you a couple of seconds to introduce myself and tell you hopefully why I'm qualified to give the class, because everybody talks a good game. So my name's Peter Sage. Figured that one out. I'm pretty honored to say I'm now recognized as one of the most sought after experts on personal and lasting transformation, being the operative word there. I've built a large global following. I've worked with Tony for over 15 years as a high-level trainer. I've spoken in over 60 countries. I've shared the stage with some pretty cool people. I'm also an international best-selling author on human behavior. I've got books published in several languages all over the world. But more importantly for you guys today, I am not one of those people who've become super successful by selling stuff to other people on how to be successful. Again, that's another one of those bullshit kind of deals. And again, forgive the language, but it winds me up, and people shouldn't be allowed to do that to other people because all they have is more certainty and not enough track record. No, I'm very proud to say I'm an award-winning entrepreneur in my own right. I've made millions more in business, guys, than I'm ever going to do selling books. I can promise you that. I do what I'm doing here because I get emails and messages every single day from people like you whose lives have changed dramatically because they made the same 5 shifts you're about to learn. And I'm way more passionate about helping others discover them than buying another Ferrari or whatever. So here's the 1-minute version of how I discovered this, because I want to give you the context. I wasn't taught this in school. I'm pretty sure you weren't either. And it reminds me of an amazing quote by the great late Jim Rohn, who said, "Formal education can help you make a living." Still doubtful today. But self-education like this can help you make a fortune. And for me, this all started one day when I was at the gym. I finished my workout. I just ordered a protein shake at the bar. And the guy standing next to me started chatting. And as usual, people love to talk about their favorite subject, which is, come on, yes, themselves. Yes, correct. And usually, especially the last 2 years, the favorite part of their favorite subject, which is everything that sucks about their life, right? Now, at this point, even though I was in my early 20s, I'd been studying self-education for 5 years. I was a millionaire. I knew immediately how to solve this guy's problems. And I thought I was doing great. I went on to give him strategies for turning his life around, setting goals, creating additional income streams. I was on fire. And because I was enthusiastic, guess what? He became enthusiastic. And I remember at the end of the conversation, I recommended him a book. I think it was Think and Grow Rich. And he left the gym happy camper. And I left feeling proud that I'd helped change somebody's life. Or so I thought. And it was a couple of weeks later that I saw him again. And I went up and I said, hey, how's it going? How are you getting on with the book? Do you know what he turned around and said? Oh, yeah, what was it called again? Who was the author? And I remember feeling just so deflated and confused. Because back then, guys, I couldn't understand why some people are more committed to keeping their problems than outgrowing them. Have you noticed that? And that's what led me to discover the first of the 5 shifts that you're about to learn. And over the last 2.5 decades, I made it my mission to master human behavior, to figure out the key as to why do so many people with so many advantages fail flat, and why some people, against all the odds, create magic. And the formula you're about to discover in this presentation is the result of everything I've learned. I've tested it, I've refined it, I've battle tested it again. I don't kind of hope this may work for you. That isn't why I'm here. It is an absolute certainty that this formula works 100% of the time you apply it, case closed. Not 99%, not on bank holidays. It's like gravity, it doesn't have mood swings. And please understand, I don't care. I'm not here to convince you. It's not my job. Yeah, nor am I going to ask you to believe this or assume it's true. Never do that. I'm here to invite you to test it and let the results speak for themselves, because that's when you're going to own the power of this for yourself and nobody's talking you out of it. And the good news is, I'm going to walk you through all 5 of them starting now. Are you with me, guys? Are you ready for shift number 1? Give me some energy here in the chat. All right, and if you've got any water, hydrate, because I am. Okay, we've got some feedback here. We've got some energy coming through. Still with me? Absolutely. So, shift number 1. Let's get into this. Shift my learning focus from knowledge mastery to self-mastery. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, as I'm sure you're aware, right now, personal growth industry is thriving on selling online courses for pretty much everything. You want to learn how to create pistachio-flavored ice cream with a twist? There's a course on it. Yeah, people are busy trying to learn new skills, find the next big thing. They're studying for hours a day. They're sucking up screen time. They're putting in the time to try to get all of the knowledge that they think is going to take them to the next level. Yeah, you've been there. I know. Well, you might say, yeah, but isn't that a good thing? I'm investing in myself. No. And let me tell you why. Firstly, only 20% of what you're being sold is going to be classed as useful. The rest is pretty much padding to make it look more substantial or justify the price. Second, most of the information we try to learn today is already outdated by the time we go to apply it, or if not, it's soon going to be, just by how fast things are moving. But the biggest problem with trying to cram yourself with knowledge, and again, if this is true for you, let me know, is that it quickly becomes overwhelming. And the emotional path is this. Overwhelm leads to confusion, which leads to inaction. In other words, a lot of time people learn so much, they do nothing. Which is why the big lie in self-help, guys, is this. Over 90% of courses that people buy never get completed. That's not a shot. What the hell is that happening? Oh, I have no idea where that came from. Excuse me, guys. I didn't even know I'd got anything on here. Why is somebody trying to... I'm in the middle of a webinar. Why are you trying to call me? Go away. Sorry about that. Right. You can tell it's live when something comes through like that. Anyway, back to where we were. Okay. It really is live. Right. And yes, you don't have to be perfect to get your ducks in a row to do this. So, back to where we were. Oh, hang on. Why has that gone black? Come on, tech. Where is tech? Let me do this. Guys, bear with me a second. What happens when you don't send it out? Oh, it's me. Yes, I'm back. Let's go back here. Let's go right. Let's do it this way. Oh, now we're over here on this screen, and let's press that one. Are we back in the game? Are we back? Ah, yes, we are. Right. Let's click there. See, I'm your entertainment for today as well. Let's go here. Tell me, are we back in the game? I think we're back in the game. Right. Okay. So, yeah. On that note, where are we? We were talking about the big lie in self-help being what I call, yeah, DFL, which is, there we are, data for later, which more often than not really means never. That's like spending money on a car you're never going to drive, or for paying for a holiday you're never going to take. And while much of what I've shared can easily be verified by your own experience, the number one reason, guy, why knowledge mastery is the wrong focus is it doesn't address the one thing that is responsible for applying the knowledge. And you can tell me that yourself. That is you. Now, you see, all behavior is preceded by thought. Thoughts are habitual, and unless you know how to master yourself, nothing's going to change. See, anybody can buy a gym membership, but gyms don't get you fit. Showing up and hitting the treadmill on a consistent basis is what gets you fit. But first, you're going to get past the excuses that an untrained mind will give you when you're tired or you're busy or not in the mood. And that is why emotional fitness is way more important to work on first than physical fitness. So in short, the first big takeaway that you want to remember from today's training, guys, and there's going to be more, is this. Focusing on knowledge mastery will keep you smart, busy, and broke. Are you guys getting this? Give me some feedback in the chat if it's making sense. Because I'm also going to show you why you already know enough to get whatever goal you set. It's just not working, yeah, right now. And that's because, yeah, unless you're focused on self-mastery, because this changes everything. What specifically do you need to address? Well, that's what shift number 2 is going to do. Now, as you can probably hear, I have some barking dogs in the background. And so I'm going to ask you guys to share with each other for 20 seconds what has been your biggest takeaway so far. If you do that, I will silence the dogs and we'll be able to get on with this deal. How does that sound? Biggest takeaway so far from today in the chat. I'll be back shortly. Okay, did we have some feedback? Self-mastery is key. Information is too much. Haha, don't follow your passion. Change my mindset. Don't follow your passion. Yes, we're getting there, guys. Outstanding. Well done. So let's move on. Who's ready for shift number 2? I know you're all ready. Yes, look at this. I'm loving this, guys. This is great interaction. Thank you so much. Let's move to shift number 2, which is release my subconscious brakes. Subconscious brakes are success enemy number 1, and it's easy to spot if you suffer from them. I mean, have you ever put off something important that you had to do, even though you knew how to do it, and then you thought, why did I do that? And you can't give a logical answer because it didn't make any logical sense. Well, guys, most people spin their wheels this way their whole life because they have their conscious mind on the gas, but a much bigger subconscious foot on the brake, and especially when it comes to money. So let's drill down and find out with a quick and easy lesson in neuroscience. Now, this is our brain. And if it had a CEO, then it would be this part in red, the neocortex. This is what's responsible for critical and intelligent thinking. Now, what's interesting about the brain is that it operates at different frequencies, depending on what state you're in. In fact, throughout history, one of the hallmarks of a genius was their ability to control their brain frequencies at will, allowing them to enter states like accelerated learning, super focus, incredible creativity, or even instant relaxation. Now, when it comes to your brain and my brain, our neocortex operates mainly at a frequency known as beta, or 12 to 18 cycles per second. What's interesting is that the ability to use beta, guys, doesn't get turned on until we're about 7 years old. That's when we experience kind of a brain puberty. Before that, we operate mainly in theta, which is around 4 to 7 cycles per second. And it's also, incidentally, where we dream. And when we dream, we generally accept information without questioning it. For example, If we see a deceased relative, we don't say, hang on a minute, Uncle Fred died 5 years ago. What's he doing here? Oh, I know, it must be a dream. No, we don't question, because our neocortex doesn't operate down at theta, and we keep dreaming, accepting without question virtually everything that happens. How is this connected to the fact that most people don't achieve the success that they want no matter how hard they work? Well, let me share a scenario with you and it'll become crystal clear. And for those that saw the little gift that I sent over the weekend, this will be a recap, but please pay attention. For those that haven't, this is going to be eye-opening. Okay. Are we still here, guys? You guys can hear me? Someone says they've lost audio. No, you're still here, right? Give me some feedback in the chat. I just want to make sure that you guys are still with me. Yes, still with me. Okay, perfect. Okay, so marvelous. So here's a scenario for you guys. 1 second. Let's go. There we are. Let's say it's Dad's turn to take the kids shopping. And that day, Dad happens to be frustrated. He's dealing with problems at work. He's trying to figure out how to pay the credit card. He's dealing with a million other things. And as he's going down the aisle, little 6-year-old Johnny in the car, he spots a toy. And he says, Daddy, can I please have the toy? Now, Daddy's not thinking about toys. He's still juggling finances in his head. And he responds, no toys today. But as every parent knows, kids are masters of persistence. And Johnny says, oh, please, Daddy, I really want a toy. And he starts bugging his dad. And in his frustration, Dad snaps at the kid and says, you can't have a toy. You're not being good enough. You don't deserve one. And he goes back to his big world problems, thinking that'll keep him quiet. But something significant is now happening to little Johnny. See, Johnny doesn't live in a world of credit card debt. He just sees the toy and he wants the toy. But nor does he live in a world of critical thinking. All he hears is, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. Now, if he was 8 or 9 years old, he would have had access to the front part of his brain. And at which point he might have looked at his elder brother and said, hey, caught Dad in a bad mood. I know. I'll ask again when he's in a better one. But instead, he accepts unconditionally the fact that he's not good enough and that he's undeserving, and spends the rest of his life living up to, or more accurately, down to his own expectations. And this has now been proven in study after study to be one of the greatest hidden causes of self-sabotage and financial blocks later in life. Why? Because our outer world actions follow our inner world programming, regardless of how smart or intelligent the front part of our brain is. Now, let me explain this one final way before we move on, because if you're serious about creating lasting change and more abundance in your life, and you want to get the most out of what you've already invested, it's critical to understand this. So think of it this way. Your conscious mind is like an ant. Here he is, cute little guy. He's hardworking, he's industrious, he's able to solve problems, make smart decisions. In fact, I know this ant personally. His name is Anthony. And last week, he went to a personal growth seminar for ants where he bought some new courses. He even hired an ant coach that specializes in how to become a more successful ant. And he's made some new plans. He's put a vision board together and he's now working hard, proudly walking north towards his new goals. The problem, my friends, is that your little ant is walking across the back of a very large elephant, your subconscious programming that is marching south. And no amount of motivation, goals, or trying to learn new knowledge is going to shift that. Now, it's a powerful way to do it. We're going to cover it in shift number 4. But what I'm revealing to you here now is the number 1 law in personal growth. So please tattoo this on the inside of your eyelids. You can never rise above the opinion of yourself, no matter how hard you work. Now, just reflect for a moment, guys, based upon what resonated earlier, and realize how frustrating it is to be trapped in a life where you didn't actually know that. And please remember, this is not the opinion of your ant at the front of your brain. That's always going to tell you in a loud voice that you want the goals, the new house, you deserve the better body or relationship. I mean, nobody wakes up and deliberately says, hey, I know what would be fun. Let's procrastinate and sabotage my potential and screw up my life today. No. And this is why failure is not linked to intelligence, which is why more knowledge mastery is not going to help. Instead, it's linked to something much deeper and something nobody talks about because most people just don't understand the biology of it. And that brings us to our 3rd shift, which really is the secret weapon of self-mastery. And that is breaking cell inertia. Breaking what? Guys, what you are about to discover is the answer to why most people stay stuck at the same level of success. And this is all based on the latest science and discoveries in neurobiology, but it's the missing piece in personal growth. And it starts with understanding the inescapable law known as the Law of Conformity, which in simple terms states environment beats will. In other words, you are hardwired to adapt to your environment over time. Now, this becomes obvious if we take a health example. We all know that if you put your body in the gym, it's going to give you some biceps. Whereas if you put it in McDonald's, you're going to get triceps. See, your body doesn't care which environment you put it in. Its job is to adapt to the one that you choose. And you can have all the willpower to grow biceps while you munch cheeseburgers all day, but the law says environment beats will. Now, gym versus McDonald's, that's pretty easy to understand, but here's what most people don't know. You've got around 50 trillion cells in your body, give or take. And every single one of them is governed by the same law, meaning they are programmed to adapt to their environment. Now, the outer surface of your cells have what are called receptor sites. Yeah? And their job is essentially to monitor the biochemical environment and feed that information back to the cell so it can adapt. Yeah, I'll use an easy example. Any coffee drinkers in the house? I know who you are. Now, if so, yeah, if you're a Kappa, Fracca, Double, Mocha, Latte, Chino, Espresso, whatever, then if you're one of those, then your cells have already adjusted to a biochemistry that is produced by regular amounts of caffeine. If you don't drink coffee, they're not. This is why you can take somebody who's never drank coffee, give them a double espresso, and what happens? They're wired out of their mind. They're backflipping up the stairs. It's fun to watch. Whereas you can take a heavy coffee drinker, some of you relate to this, and give you an espresso after dinner and you can still go to sleep at night. I mean, like, whoa. Now, it's the same for people that move from, say, a hot country to a cold country. You're going to feel it more than the locals until you adapt, or what we call acclimatize. Is this making sense? Now, you may say, well, Pete, I get that. So what? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Because when it comes to our brain, every thought we think produces a chemical, either a neurotransmitter, a neuropeptide, a hormone, all of which changes the body's internal chemistry that your cells are living in. So sticking with the weather metaphor, I want you to imagine that your thoughts are creating the inner weather that your cells are constantly acclimatizing to. So let's say you think happy, positive, upbeat thoughts, and this creates a lovely warm climate for your cells to sunbathe in. And that weather's made up of chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and various types of endorphins, which then flood the bloodstream with biochemical sunshine. Are you with me so far? I hope so, because here's a question. If your cells are acclimatized to a warm, sunny environment because you're always thinking positive thoughts, what kind of clothes do you think they're wearing metaphorically? Well, summer clothes, swimsuits, sunglasses, mankinis, yeah, whatever. Well, maybe not mankinis, but you get the idea. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. Let's say you're more prone to thinking negative thoughts. Anybody? Hello? Let's say you've got any kind of stress or fear or anxiety. Well, those kind of thoughts are going to produce things like cortisol and adrenaline and other stress and aging hormones, which create a very different kind of weather for your cells to swim around in. Think of it as rainy, cold, and grey, kind of like England in summer, which means that instead of swimsuits, these cells are wearing the chemical equivalent, hats and scarves and coats and gloves. Please tell me this is making sense. Good, because I want you to hold that thought as we reveal the other half of the puzzle. Another important and inescapable law, also known in science or physics as Newton's first law, which is the law of inertia, which states that objects in motion tend to stay in motion until acted upon by a greater force. Now, that sounds a bit Newtonish, so let me translate that into simple language for you and I, as it relates to outgrowing old or negative habits and behaviors. Change is hard because it's always easier to be where we are. Now, how does this tie in? Guys, what I'm about to share with you is critical information, so please pay attention, because if you understand the answer to my next question, It could be life-changing for you and your family, and you'll finally understand something most people will go to their grave being completely oblivious of. And instead, you'll keep wasting time and money on things that won't help or have a lasting impact. Now, I'll come to the question in a second. But let's say, like most people who, being honest with themselves, you know that deep down, I'm capable of more than what I'm currently settling for. But the main difference between last year and this year is that good old one more cake on the candle, which, by the way, if that's you, it virtually guarantees your ant and elephant are running in opposite directions. But then something shifts. You go to an event, you read a book, you attend a summit, or maybe it's January the 1st. You're just sick and tired of living below your potential. You say, you know what? Boom, I'm going to change. This year is going to be different. And you're serious? You change your diet. You set new goals, and all of a sudden you're putting in new thinking, which now sends sunshine into the bloodstream instead of snow. Are you with me still? Okay, so far so good. But due to past conditioning, your cells are still wearing hats and coats and gloves and scarves. And this then creates the same circumstances most of us spend our entire life cycling through again and again, between the new sunny chemicals of the thinking mind that lead to new and lasting change versus the cold adapted cells that keep you stuck with more of the same. Now, the multi-million-dollar question is, which future wins? And I can pretty much guarantee the answer to that by asking another simple question. And for some of you, this is where it'll all start to make sense. When it comes to the law of inertia, is it easier for 50 trillion cells to change their wardrobe or for you to just change your mind? Oh, yes. Oh, it's not just easier, guys. Your cells are biologically programmed to turn around to you and say, whoa, hang on a minute. We're all wrapped up for winter down here, and you want us to go to Walmart and buy swimsuits and shades instead? Do you know how much energy that's going to take? No. We work off path of least resistance. So we've had a meeting, and we've decided that it's way easier for you to just give us back some snow. In fact, we can do it with a blizzard down here right now. We're starting to sweat with all this new positive habits you're trying to form. Now, obviously, I'm using weather as a metaphor here, but the actual messages produced by your cells are exceptionally real, and they're sent either chemically via the hypothalamus or they're sent electrically through the nerve pathways of the spinal column directly into the brain. And how this shows up in your life is negative self-talk, creeping self-doubt, procrastination. You start to become more pessimistic than optimistic about whether this change will last. And eventually, you start self-sabotaging until the forecast is no longer predicting summer and you feel like you're heading back into winter. Tell me you're getting this, guys. I mean, is anybody familiar with this pattern? I certainly was. And I felt like I was running the 100-meter hurdles of life that never ends because I'd work hard to jump 3 and end up running back to the start to try again. Now, that's like losing 30 pounds on a diet, which, by the way, most people have. It's just the same 3 pounds that they've lost 10 times. I mean, talk about Groundhog Day, right? But guess what? There's actually some great news in all of this. In fact, I'm going to show you now that what you just learned is, in fact, a reason to celebrate. Why? Allow me to spell it out. The reason you haven't succeeded at the level that you want yet, it's not because you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're just unlucky, or you haven't learned enough skills or knowledge mastery. It's none of that bullshit. So stop telling yourself stories and buy into it. No, it is not you. You are amazing. You're capable. You're worthy of success. It's just that your body has been waging biochemical warfare against your potential. Not on purpose. Not because it hates you. It's just your cell inertia caused by your past conditioned thinking. And in case you didn't just get the significance of what I shared, guys, let me reiterate. One of the primary ripple effects of understanding what I just said, and some of you this is going to be huge, is that you now get to pardon yourself, forgive yourself, or whatever you want to call it. You get to stop beating yourself up in any way for all of your previous so-called failures. You can finally stop blaming yourself for not sticking to something or following through on something because you mistakenly thought you weren't good enough or smart enough and you didn't have the discipline or the power to stick with something. Do you get how powerful that is? And do you know how much energy is wasted on guilt and poor self-image as a result of not knowing this? or how many unconscious negative beliefs keep getting reinforced, which puts you back on that hamster wheel of mediocrity. It's also why the Buddha, who, let's be honest, knew a thing or two about self-mastery, said emphatically, if you want to fly, first give up everything that weighs you down. You see, some of you have been trying to fly with ankle weights while blaming your wings. But while I'm telling you, right, if you make some smart decisions today, we can absolutely change that. But it starts with realizing that self-mastery begins not with discipline or intelligence or willpower or more books to read or any of that stuff. Wrong rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, there's a massive industry that'll sell you a map to run down them. But instead, it starts with self-mastery. And by the way, I had to include this image. Why? Because that is actually a real grass cell under a microscope. Unaltered, no Photoshop. That's exactly what they look like. How cool is that? And why are grass cells so happy? Because they already know it's not greener on the other side. Okay, no more bad jokes. But I don't want to keep this as theory for you guys. I want to make it real, very real. So I want to share a quick case study with you on how powerful you can become when you get this right. Now, some of you might be familiar with the story of how I ended up 4 years ago as the only non-criminal in Pentonville, which is Britain's most violent prison. I've never been arrested, accused of a crime. Now, if not, you can check out my TED Talk online. But let me give you the 60-second version. Myself and a billion-dollar company were arguing over a years-old million-dollar business deal in court when they hit me with a contempt of court application. I didn't really see it as a threat. I saw it as a chess move. In fact, any entrepreneurs on here today will already know that when it comes to business, litigation is mainly used just as a tool. But these guys were better prepared. My ego certainly didn't help. And they sold it to the judge who gave me 6 months as a civil prisoner. I lost everything. I lost my business. It went from 50 staff to 3 staff in days. I was left with hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal debt, no credit rating, couldn't even open a bank account. And because of errors in administration, I, as a civil prisoner, was kept in the worst and most dangerous prison in the country. In fact, this is the actual wing that I was on. Now, for some people, be honest, that might be justifiable cause for what? A little bit of negative thinking, a little bit of, victimhood, a little bit of upset. But I had 50 trillion cells, guys, that were fully conditioned to sunshine and not rain. And they would not let me see what was happening as negative in any way. And even if a dark cloud did appear on the mental horizon, it was soon sent away. And instead of getting scared or upset, I got excited. I saw this as an incredible adventure. And I made a decision right then not to see myself as a prisoner as I was walking down the stairs, but instead a secret agent of change. And cut a long story short, I ended up getting many prisoners off drugs. I was stopping suicides. I redesigned the intake system to help reduce violence that's now being used in prisons all over the world. I even won a national award for the work that I did. Now, I don't tell you that to impress you. I tell it to impress upon you what is possible. Were the times I was depressed? Of course, I'm human. But at those moments, my body waged biochemical warfare, not against my potential, but against my doubts and my fears. And because of that, I was able to turn what happened into one of the most incredible and awe-inspiring adventures I've ever had the privilege of living. And that level of self-mastery, ladies and gentlemen, is available to every single one of you. So let's sum up this shift as it really is the secret weapon. First, self-mastery begins with cell mastery. Why? Because like it or not, you're an adaptation machine. Your body's constantly adjusting to its outer environment, giving you the biceps or triceps. But at the same time, your cells are adjusting to their inner environment or weather caused by your habitual thinking. And that leads to swimsuits or scarves. Next, once you've adapted, inertia builds up, which means your cells are then programmed to talk you out of change. Don't take it personally. They're just following the rules. But that means, and listen carefully, if you don't learn how to recondition your cells, they will always send messages designed to readjust your thinking to their wardrobe. Let that sink in. Now, the good news is that this works both ways. Because once you master this, you will literally have an army standing in your corner, one that is continually programmed to make and keep you successful and keep you smiling no matter what. That'll snap you out of fear or depression or anxiety or feeling unmotivated. Now, the obvious question is, how do you do that? Which brings us to shift number 4. Engaged neural conditioning. Now, before I explain what this is and why it works so well with everybody, no matter what your history, no matter what shape your cells are in, let me explain what makes people fail at this even before they start, just so that you don't become one of them. And that is this. All successful people train for the marathon, not the sprint. They play the longer time frame. They don't buy into what's become the biggest lie in personal growth, backed up by flashy marketing and false promises. And that is the lie of the quick fix. And I get why you want it. I understand, guys. Yeah, I'm not blaming you here. I feel your pain, right? You want to get out of pain. You're poor. You want to be rich. You're overweight. You want to be slim. I get it. But there is no change my life in 20 minutes course, and I can prove it by asking you a simple question. Be honest, give me some feedback here. Do you know anybody in the history of the universe who walked into a gym 20 pounds overweight and walked out ripped? No. You don't go to the gym once and get fit. You go to the gym once and get sore. And you know what? That's why many people never walk in, because they're spending their life training for the sprint instead of a marathon. Now, ladies, back to me, please, right? Leave the Chippendale alone, right? But every great musician, entrepreneur, athlete, parent understands the power of this. Or to quote Bruce Lee, long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity, right? Okay, poor impression. But you get my point. He's one of my heroes, and he's bang on. But what does this mean when it comes to us? Well, let's break down the words engaged neural conditioning. Engaged means that whatever it is must be engaging enough to both catch and hold your attention and stop it from wandering. Yes, even you distraction experts. Otherwise, you'll tune out and there's going to be zero impact. And it'll end up as another course you bought and didn't finish. Case in point, have I designed this training so far where you're still engaged? Yes. Why? Because I understand how to do that. Right? Normally, most people by now, after an hour, have dropped off, and we've got pretty much the same number of people. So thank you for being who you are. Second, neural means that the activity has to be focused on retraining your brain to produce specific types of chemicals that signal your cells to upgrade their wardrobe. And now we get to the most important part, conditioning. You've got to get past the cell inertia. And a great analogy to explain this with, guys, is with a compass. And that's because your mind is very similar to a compass needle in a way that it has a default magnetic north, a place it normally gravitates to, which, as we know, for most people is more facing negativity than positivity. Would you agree? More pointing towards lack rather than abundance, or more towards stress than calm. Now, the good news is that by using our conscious mind, remember Anthony, this little guy? We can actually grab hold of that compass needle with free will and point it in a new direction. Yeah, if we're feeling sad, we can decide to call a friend or go for a walk or watch a comedy. The problem is we're only using Anthony 5% of the time. 95% of the time, people are what I call sleeping awake, where our elephant is in charge and we're operating out of preconditioned habit. It's why you show up to work on your day off when you're driving, right? Now, as soon as our ant takes its hand off the needle consciously, it'll always swing back to its default magnetic north. Is this making sense? Are you getting this, guys? So how do you change it? Well, any physics teacher is going to tell you. To remagnetize a compass needle and change its polarity, you have to expose it to a stronger magnet and stroke it in the new direction over and over and over and over and over and over again. No quick fix. Over and over and over again. In other words, engaged neural conditioning is the process of reconditioning your current default thoughts in a way that your ant and your elephant are finally starting to march in the same direction towards your success. Now, this can't happen if you're focused on the quick fix, which is why when it comes to getting ultimate self-mastery, marathoners win and sprinters fail. But as we come to the end of the training shortly, guys, I'm going to show you the fastest proven way to break cell inertia for good. I'm going to give you a plan that'll guarantee the next 12 months will be massively different. Again, tell me you're getting this. I mean, can you imagine the difference that this is going to make in your life when you really put this into practice? And that also ties in perfectly with the last of our 5 shifts. Commit to effective action. Now, that may sound obvious, but the key is really knowing what kind of action is effective. Because as we saw at the beginning, most people are busy as hell and broke. So let me give you another powerful insight to explain what I mean. A human being is very much like a bicycle. Yeah, if we're not moving towards something with purpose and momentum, we lose our balance and fall over. Now, you and I are wired exactly the same way. And the key words here, guys, are purpose and momentum. Because without that, you're falling flat on your face in Groundhog Day when it comes to living our potential. Don't take my word for it. Just become a keen observer of people who are up to something, who are walking around on purpose. There's that different spark, that different energy about them. And nowhere do I see that more often than in those who have mastered what I'm sharing with you today. But if you think that taking the same action that you've been taking or trying some quick fix is going to produce some different result, you're in fantasy land. And yes, it's always nice to daydream about unicorns and rainbows and the nice new car or body you want. At some point, if you don't take action on what I've shared with you today, inertia will take back over and you'll be back at square one. Anybody want that? No, I don't want it for you either. But I also care enough about you to tell it to you straight. And because for some of you today, this may be the kick in the butt that you need. I also know you also have what it takes, otherwise you wouldn't have shown up here today. Unlike those people who registered but didn't attend because they're too busy being busy. Okay, let's summarize. You're doing great, guys, by the way. Your energy is awesome. Thank you. I'm seeing all of your comments in the chat here, so thank you for everybody here. Now, I know it's set to privacy. You can't see other people's comments, but I can see everybody here. So today, I promised you that you would discover aspects of personal growth most people will go to their grave never knowing. You're going to find out the real reasons why people fail and why it's got nothing to do with the skills or knowledge they learn. How to stop getting in your own way to escape Groundhog Day, and why over 95% of the money you spend and people continue to spend in self-help never produces the results you want. So let me give you a final recap here of what you need to win. 1, self-mastery beats knowledge mastery all day long, unless you want to stay busy and broke. Do not ever, underline ever, be fooled or distracted otherwise. This is so foundational to your success. In fact, if you were caught napping earlier or if you came late, let me explain it one final time so you really get the importance of this. People are not overweight because they eat too much. That's a distraction to sell you some diet bullshit or personal training program. No. People are overweight because they haven't mastered their relationship to food. Just as, and listen carefully because some of you need to hear this, people are not in debt because they don't earn enough. They're in debt because they haven't mastered their relationship to money. And that's why, until you buy into making self-mastery your first priority, diets are never going to work, online courses are going to become more data for later, and money-making opportunities, no matter how good they really are or they sound, are not going to increase your net worth because your unconscious will always find ways to let it slip through your fingers. Which brings us to shift number 2. Release your subconscious brakes. These are our blind spots. So find a coach or a program that can uncover and solve them. Because if you don't, you're always going to be running off hidden beliefs that limit you. And financial freedom will always just be out of reach. Shift number 3, break your cell inertia. Remember, this is the real root cause of why people's lives never really change, no matter how many courses you buy or books you read. The best way to think of this is that breaking cell inertia is the same as breaking your potential out of prison. 4, use engaged neural conditioning. Change the default setting on your compass, otherwise the impact will be temporary, not lasting. And finally, the key that starts the engine today, take effective action. Stop wasting any more time or money on short-term, quick fix solutions and set yourself up to win by choosing today to start to climb the ladder of your potential. Now, these shifts alone, guys, are enough to propel you from wherever your current level of achievement is and into an entirely new world of success. I promise you, saving you time, money, and mistakes you're no longer going to have to make. Which means ultimately today, you now have a choice. And I want to help you make the right one and get the most out of your time today by asking an important question. Remember, questions direct focus. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. So why not ask the question that successful people always ask themselves before committing to something new and worthwhile? And that is, what if? There's two parts to this. The first is an honest reality check. What if I don't? Well, you already know where that path leads. You're back on the hamster wheel of the old way that everybody else is trying to convince you is effective. Let's go spend more money on ineffective solutions that never address the real cause, secretly hoping this time it'll work. Let's teach my ant some more new ant skills, thinking somehow my elephant's magically going to change direction, and then wonder why I end up back where I started. Or how about deluding ourselves that indisputable laws of nature just don't apply to you, and then wonder why that voice of self-doubt creeps back in. Or you can get excited about asking the question, what if I do? And play a very different game. One where you're living your life with newfound gusto, remembering what it's like to live on purpose with that mojo that propels you forward, with that army of 50 trillion cells cheering you on, ensuring no matter what the weather is, everybody else's movie, you're staying sunny, calm, and powerful, where negative comments and other people's drama doesn't affect you. And you're going to find a person who has ultimate self-mastery is also worth way more money in the marketplace. Why? Because that's the kind of person successful people want to do business with, as I said earlier. And with the unconscious beliefs removed, you're going to start attracting more wealth and abundance to you rather than always be running off chasing it. That makes sense, right? I hope so, because everybody else who's taken that path will tell you the magic, and you won't believe them until you experience it for yourself. So if you're willing to make a declaration that this is something you are committed to, even if you never hear from me again or come across my work, make a bold statement to yourself and your brain and your cells and the world right now by typing in a big fat yes into the chat box. This is you about you saying yes to you. Well, that didn't take long to play catch up. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about. Awesome stuff, guys. Yeah, I have got a plethora, a cascade, an avalanche of yeses coming through here. You guys have got some energy. Woo! And listen, I have absolute confidence that you could take these 5 shifts that I've shared with you today, guys. Now you know what they are. You can go out, you can research them, you can deep dive into them, and you can walk out on a solo path and put a plan together for yourself to put them into action and start getting results you previously didn't know how to make possible. And if that was your only option, I would be your biggest cheerleader. And for those who do want to do this solo, the gift I've got for you waiting at the end of this shortly is really going to help. Because even if you are committed, most people don't know where to start, or they guess at it, or they go dabbling and then they run off in circles. Which is why, by the way, if you look at examples of ultimate self-mastery, could be a monk who became a Zen master, an athlete who made Olympic gold, you're going to see the reality is for those people, it took at least 5 to 10 years of total dedication, several hours a day. Now, be honest, how many of you were all excited thinking, well, that sounded good up to then, but kind of don't have a spare 5 to 10 years for that right now? And my honest answer to you guys is, who does, right? And that's what led me to ask myself the same question I just asked you. What if? What if it were possible to find a way to accelerate the entire self-mastery, cell inertia process so that anybody could get incredible life-changing results in weeks and months, not years and decades, where literally we could conquer cell inertia in as little as 90 days and achieve ultimate self-mastery in under 12 months to the point where it was impossible to fail, guaranteed. I mean, would you be happy if that was you? What would have happened if you'd made that decision 12 months ago? See, I don't want you to be overwhelmed today, guys. I want you to be inspired. I want to show you what's possible. So as one of the world's leading experts in this field, I set myself the challenge to achieve that promise for you. And I put together something that delivers on all of this and even more. I've not even had a chance to show you. In fact, for some people, it's helped conquer cell inertia in the first hour. Now, that's rare. Most of the time, it takes a few weeks. But designing everything I've showed you today into a foolproof system to do this took me the best part of 9 years to create. And if you don't mind, if you felt like I've kept my promise to you so far, would you guys be cool if I take the last few minutes before the Q&A and the free gifts and show you what I believe to be the fastest and easiest way to achieve ultimate self-mastery? If so, type me another yes or something positive or a thumbs up or a heart emoji or something in the chat, and I will make that happen. And have some water as well, because, yeah, I'm getting excited right now. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you guys, yeah, all with me here. You guys are awesome. And you guys should get excited too, because you're about to be shown something that very few people will ever see, which is why it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Ultimate Self-Mastery, the most effective engaged neural conditioning program ever created for ending self-sabotage and procrastination, destroying limiting beliefs while programming your conscious and unconscious mind for high-level abundance, while at the same time becoming stress-proof, drama-proof, mentally unstoppable, so you can start easily attracting more money, better people and opportunities, and begin living life that you deserve, not the one most people settle for. Does that sound like a better way to play the game of life? Now, it's clearly not a small promise, but you're about to discover not only why it's true, I'm going to take away any risk you guys have of finding out for yourself. So let me show you what you're going to get. When you invest in Ultimate Self-Mastery, you get an entire 12-month, 4-phase mental upgrade program where every single week you get an unmissable, life-changing training to align your ant and elephant and get your cells quickly conditioned to automatic sunshine. This is because it uses engaged neural conditioning and spaced repetition to give a guaranteed impact over time. The program is also designed for maximum time efficiency, where your total time commitment, big thing for these days, less than an hour a week. The lessons are delivered in a custom-designed, intelligent online portal. It organizes all of the learning in perfect sequence. You've never got to worry about what lessons being delivered when, what order. Everything is done for you, and you're informed as soon as the next piece of content's ready. I designed this so all you have to do is literally show up and press play. Now, you're going to love this next part. Every lesson plays seamlessly across any platform on any device. It's fully downloadable. You can enjoy it anywhere, offline, keep it for life. It's also in multi-format, meaning the first one that you're going to get today, so excited, and which I said on its own has transformed many people's thinking. It's recorded in ultra-high definition video, 4-camera shoot, capture every angle, professionally edited for impact. And after you've watched it, download it to essentially an Ultimate Self-Mastery playlist where you can listen anytime. Is that cool? Plus, we also give you the transcript for every lesson as well, so you can highlight and make notes. Now, my favorite part is this. How would you feel if I said there is no need to remember anything? So that's one of the biggest downfalls of knowledge mastery, which, if you remember back from shift number 1, it leads to overwhelm and confusion. Now, I designed this so you don't have to try to remember anything. That's because engaged neural conditioning is designed to layer awarenesses rather than cram you with knowledge, and gets you to unconscious competence faster than anything else. Now, where was that in school, right? Now, I've also created a specially designed power journal you can download. It helps you separate insights from ideas and bingo moments from the action points you're going to be inspired to take. And then we get to accountability, because some of you are watching this because you want to break the habit of procrastinating, right? I know who you are. And yes, procrastination and self-sabotage are going to disappear quickly from your life with this. But accountability is also built in. There's an interactive comment section where on every lesson, I ask you to leave a comment on what you've learned. So not only does it accelerate the conditioning, but the other students and myself can tell if you've done it. It's super powerful. So the question you're asking, I get it, is how much is it? Right? How much is it? Well, I get it, guys. Remember, you are getting a 1-year, 4-phase program that includes an initiate phase. You'll start that today, where we're going to fix all of your cell inertia. You've got the creator phase, where we get your ant and your elephant fully aligned. We've got a specialist phase. Each of these are 3 months long, where your cells get programmed for automatic success. And then the mastery phase, where it becomes impossible to ever go back to limiting yourself. Plus, you get all 52 neural conditioning workouts, multi-format, fully downloadable, the custom portal, the power journal, the accountability. And the value of all of that per 90-day phase is $565, or a total of $2,259 for the year, which, by the way, is amazing value. But here's a question for you that'll get your attention. And I'm probably going to regret saying it, but how many of you today would like to get all of that for free? Stay tuned. I told you I had some surprises for you if you stay till the end. Now, you're also going to get my complete and very popular collection of Straight Talks, which now sells for $12.94. And not only does it give you immediate strategies for improving your health and relationships and finances, but it helps cement 2 of the most important things we spoke about earlier in shift number 5, purpose and momentum. Think about how different the quality of your life would be with just those two things. Are you getting this? There's a ton of value here. And of course, my question is, how would you like to get that for free too? Oh, come on, show me some energy here, guys. So I also know some of you deep down are also asking, will this work for me? I get it. A lot of courses try to be a one-size-fits-all, and they're not. I didn't spend 9 years designing those programs. I designed this one. So the short answer here is yes, this works for everybody. That includes all levels of personal growth. If you live in a negative environment, whether that's friends or co-workers or in-laws, this will be massively empowering. It applies to every age. We've got students here from 11 to 86, all of whom have made massive shifts. The program adds huge value, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're a parent, whether you're in or out of work, or whether you're an entrepreneur who's struggling or stressed. This program works for everybody in a powerful way. Why? Because self-mastery creates a better relationship to everything. In other words, it follows the universal truth that, like it or not, outer world follows inner world. Which is why when you attain or get self-mastery of your inner world, all parts of your outer world start to shift. Make sense? And especially when it comes to money. Now, as an entrepreneur, I used to have so many people come up and say, oh, I'd love to have my own business, or I'd love to control my own income, especially the last 2 years. But I don't have the money to start. And most people didn't believe me when I said that self-mastery had allowed me to build most of my most successful companies with no money, no cash, no credit or debt. And so to prove the point, I actually created a separate program called How to Start a Business with No Money. Now, I use business as an example. Not everybody wants to start one. But the main benefit of this program is that it teaches financial self-mastery, and it's liberated thousands of people when it comes to their relationship to money, which allows more of it to show up. Now, I sell that separately, $495. I'm not offering that here today. I want to just remind you of what's possible, guys. Stay focused when you stop chasing money-making opportunities in the outer world and first shift your focus to mastering abundance in your inner world. Make sense? Anyway, next we come to the equally most powerful part of the whole program, live monthly power coaching. Now, this is a game changer. It's where we all get to meet live every single month. I get to personally coach you, but more importantly, I get to answer your questions because I want you to relax. I want you to feel confident. There's no part of this journey that you're going to go on that you're going to get stuck on or feel uncertain about. It allows me to bring you first access to the latest info so you're not learning stuff out of date, saving you a ton of research time. I mean, do you get how powerful this is? Now, the calls are the last Thursday of the month, meaning that it's this Thursday if you come on board today, right, for this amazing offer I'm about to share with you. Now, the system's going to send you the reminders and the passwords, and if you can't make it, every call is professionally recorded. It's automatically uploaded. Now, guys, please be serious here for a minute with me. When it comes to me coaching you, I want to put it in perspective. If you want to hire me outside of this program, my standard rates are $25,000 a quarter. Yeah, 100 grand a year. That's how much I value my time, and my clients value what I deliver. I had 2 private clients today. But for this program, and only this program, I decided to discount that by, over 99%, which means instead of $25,000 a quarter, you get me as your coach for $349 for each of the 90-day phases, or that's $1,396 for the year, which works out at about $3 a day in change, which is like buying me a juice in Starbucks each day to have a 100 grand coach on your team. So recap, we get the 1-year 4-phase program, all the bells and whistles at $2,259, plus the straight talk series at $1,294, plus the 12 live coaching sessions with me, valued at a massive discount of $1,396, giving a total of $4,949. But let me show you as well how, even at full price, which clearly it isn't, this program pays for itself in savings on stuff you may have already bought. Now, you may know, and if this is true for you, own it. For many people, the average person spends over $1,000 a year on books and courses and seminars and online programs, most of which you now know is chasing knowledge mastery, and it doesn't create the lasting change you want. Now, this program is designed as a one and done. It'll replace coaches. You got one, tell them politely you don't need them. You've got the best coach and personal transformation program on the planet. We've got memberships, peer groups, mastermind. All of this goes away when you invest in ultimate self-mastery, saving a calculated average across the board of $4,400 on your personal growth journey. That's why this program has been called the last course you'll ever need. But in reality, especially if you bought some courses this weekend, I can promise you, it's more important to recognize this as the first course you'll ever need, or you're just going to be repeating patterns and collecting more data for later. And let me remind you how much time commitment you're going to need for this, guys. It is 1 hour a week. And as Tony Robbins used to tell me, if you can't find an hour a week for a better life, you don't have a life. Or maybe you're thinking, does it really work? Well, I said at the beginning, I want to deliver results, not false promises. And I said, I didn't want you to take my word for it. And by the way, we've run the test groups. And if you're curious to know the impact this is going to have on you and your life starting today, go to Trustpilot. Look at any of the reviews. And I don't mean cherry pick. Yeah, I mean any of them, and you'll get the idea. Yeah, or go to YouTube and search Peter Sage success stories. You'll see for yourself. So, recap. You get the complete 1-year full-face program, delivering all the lessons, the Straight Talk collection, the 12 live coaching sessions, giving a total of $49.49, plus all of the savings on stuff you don't need to have or buy at $4,400. That's a combined value of $9,349. Now, obviously not going to charge you that, but I do have an important question for you. This is training your brain to recognize value, whether it's here or elsewhere. Let's just say that I did. And if all this did was to finally catapult you past your cell inertia, limited thinking, and self-sabotage for the rest of your life, would it be worth it? Think of what's that cost you up to now over the course of your life. Would paying under 10 grand to take the glass ceiling off what you could earn and who you could become be a good investment if that was all it did? What if all it did was eliminate 90% of the stress and worry in your life, no matter how crazy the outside world got? Or helps you form better health habits so you can live longer with less pain? Would that be worth it? What if all it did was save you the cost of a divorce, which today can run into hundreds of thousands of dollars, not to mention the anguish and heartbreak it causes? Or what if it gave you the courage to leave a relationship that you knew it was right to leave, but you didn't currently have the tools, resources, or inner self-mastery to be able to do? What would that do? Would that be worth it? What if it allowed you to become a better role model for yourself, your partner, or your kids, or your friends? Would all of that be worth it? Of course, it'd be worth every penny, way more than 10K. Probably the best investment in yourself, your future happiness you've ever made. Which is why, guys, I know the value of this program. And it's exactly why when it came to pricing, as I'm about to share with you right now, I had a real dilemma. Put simply, I've got two choices today. I could easily make this a premium product, charge a high ticket price, knowing it's worth every penny because of the benefits. But I also know that that would limit it to only a few people today that could afford it. Or I could make it affordable for everybody so as to reach and help as many of you as I could and hopefully make a much bigger difference to you and the people that you'll be able to affect and care about. And please understand, my dilemma is not cost. I don't need your money. The dilemma is, if you don't treat this like a $9,349 program, would you still be committed and show up? Serious question. Because in my experience, if you don't pay much, you don't pay much attention. If you don't give much for it, you don't usually take much from it. Now, let me know if you agree with that, by the way. But here's the thing. I believe in you guys. Partly because you've had the commitment to show up, but more so because you've kept your word and stuck with me this far. And being upfront, that was a bit of a test. That's why I've taken my time with this section. Because if I'm about to give you this at the price that I'm going to let it go at, I wanted to test if you were the kind of person who could stick with me. I've already seen some people drop off and break their promise, but you're still here, and you're still engaged, and you've played full out, and your energy's been freaking awesome in the chat. So I actually think you'll do this. So thank you for waiting, and here's the deal. I'm going to take the complete 1-year, 4-phase Ultimate Self-Mastery course with the 52 lessons and all the bells and whistles, and I'm going to give you that for free. I'm going to take the game-changing Straight Talk program, and I'm going to give you that for free. Now, when it comes to the coaching, guys, it's essentially what I'm going to risk in terms of my time. Everything else is waiting for you right now, already loaded into your portal. And at $13.96, that's already 99% discounted off my normal rates of 10 grand a month. However, I also know that if you just show up and press play for the first 90 days, which is all you need maximum to conquer your cell inertia, you're going to be so blown away by the results. I know you're going to complete the rest of the course and change your life and the lives of the people around you. And that's my outcome here, and I'm pretty sure yours too. Am I right? So therefore, if you're willing to cover my time on the live coaching calls for just the first 90 days, I'll give you the entire program and the rest of the year's coaching for free, and I'll let you take home the other $9,000 worth of value on me. Does that sound like a deal? Well, if any part of you says yes, grab that now. There's a link in the chat before your old patterns kick in. Just click the link that's come up in the chat and say the words, yes, I'm ready to take control of my future. And for the rest of you, don't worry, I still have something amazing for you at the end as promised that's going to help. Though if you're excited and you're still kind of thinking about it, then there are 3 final things I'm going to share with you to make this a no-brainer. An incredible guarantee, proof of what's about to happen to you in the next 7 days, and an insanely good action taker bonuses and gifts to sweeten the deal. Let's start with the guarantee. This is a special double guarantee that covers both your money and your transformation. Let's start with your money. And that is that I guarantee, guys, in the next 90 days or less, this program will have paid itself back by at least 3 times in cash. And yes, that's how fast things can shift when you unleash your subconscious brakes around money. And as for who you're going to become, I guarantee in 12 months, you will have achieved the same level of self-mastery normally attained by people who spend 5 to 10 years. You're going to be so transformed, you're going to need a telescope to look back at your old life. And if any part of that misses the mark, keep the program. I'll return every penny back to you immediately. I don't need it. This is not about me. This is about you. Trust me, guys, my life's not going to change whichever way you decide today, but yours will forever. And I can say that confidently because here's what many people experience in just the first 7 days. In fact, you'll see all of these as soon as you log in, along with hundreds of others like Robert, who wrote, Lesson 1 has already shifted me massively. Or Daniel, who states, quite possibly the most inspirational 45 minutes I have ever experienced. He was very experienced in personal growth. Or Leave, this is the base of becoming a new person and living a new life. And I love the one here. Yeah, only 45 minutes in, but I had to pause many times to breathe. And no, we don't do this underwater. And okay, I sneaked one in from lesson 2. Yeah, this is week 2. Right? Says, wow, only week 2 and already blown away. I love the shift I'm already feeling taking place since I've embarked on this journey. And guys, that's in 1 to 2 weeks. Imagine 52 weeks. Okay, let's talk bonuses. Now, bonus 1 is for fast action takers only. It's limited to the first 50 people, and you'll see why I can't give this to everybody, guys, but it's huge. So I'm giving away 50 individual one-on-one strategy sessions with one of my top success coaches to get you started on the right foot. Why? Because please listen to me. See if this resonates. Remember what I said earlier about most courses never get completed, but they end up as data for later? I looked at that. I found out the biggest reason why people like us don't finish is because we don't even begin. After all, what's the best way to finish something? Start it. Let's face it. It'd be pretty ironic if you procrastinated on starting or getting the one program that could finally release you of the habit. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't with me. You get me on the live monthly group calls. Well, I charge $3,000 to do this kind of personal strategy session, and my time's limited. As a commitment to the first 50 people today, I'm going to offer you the same session with one of my coaches, and I'm going to cover the cost. How does that sound? Now, this next bonus is for everybody. And this is a critical puzzle piece that you're definitely going to want. Because even as good as ultimate self-mastery is, there's one thing that will really help guarantee your success. Can you guess what it is? And it's missing. Now, I know we've covered a lot of stuff here today, and you guys are doing great. But do you remember back to shift number 3, where we said the law of conformity states environment beats will? Well, another way of translating that is you become who you hang with. In other words, if you're hanging around with 9 people who are negative, always complaining, telling you why life is hard, over time, you're likely going to become the 10th. If you hang with 9 inspired, motivated people who look at life through the lens of how I can, not why I can't, you're going to become the 10th. You can't avoid it. It's the law of conformity. And I need to be able to address that as a critical part of your success, because with me and ultimate self-mastery in your corner, your inner game will transform like no other program you have ever been on. I've already double guaranteed that. But there's something I can't do. If some of you are hanging around with people that, how do I put it, resemble the cast of Shameless, right? I can't come to your house and change that. Neither can I come to your work and change the mindset of your boss. And no, I can't trade your mother-in-law in for a better one. In other words, I can't come and upgrade your peer group. But I can do the next best thing. And that is I can teach you how to do it. Because the only thing better than achieving ultimate inner self-mastery is surrounding yourself with a group of equally awesome, kick-ass, high-level peers and great friends who think the way that you do, who set the kind of goals that you want to achieve, that hold you accountable and cheer for you and fan the flames of your dreams, not stamp them out. Well, it's a special bonus. You join Ultimate Self-Mastery today. I'm going to include my famous Upgrade Your Peer Group Masterclass. It's a powerful 2-hour training which has changed so many lives. And it shows you step by step how to surround yourself with other like-minded people that are going in the same direction of you, not the negative Normans and Nancys that try to pull you down and steal your dreams. Or how to elegantly remove yourself from people you've, how do I put it, emotionally outgrown, but without upsetting them or ruining friendships. I even share the secrets with you on how I built my own powerful peer group from scratch back when I thought I had nothing to offer. Now, can you imagine the difference that this one training is going to make to your life? So let's remind ourselves, we are getting the complete 1-year, 4-phase Ultimate Self-Mastery Program, all 52 pieces of engaging your conditioning in multi-format, downloadable, the membership portal, the power journal, the straight talk, the me coaching you live, the upgrade your peer group, the strategy session for the first 50 people, plus the stuff you no longer need to wait or save, spend money on. Total value, $9,349. I'm giving it away today, guys, for $349, which is over 95% discount, saving you $9,000. And it gets better, because I've saved the best 2 bonuses for last, plus an amazing one for everybody who stays to the end as a commitment to keep my word, whether you take this offer or not. And these last 2 bonuses are insane. And I'm including them for those who take the offer today because I want to over-reward your brain for making good decisions, rather than have the old way of procrastinating continue to ruin your future. And besides, I think you and your brain are going to like this. Do you remember back to shift number 2, where we talked about how geniuses were able to master their own brainwaves? Well, how would you like to be able to do the same so that in minutes you could enter states of super learning or laser focus or unlimited creativity, or be able to push a button and drop into a calm relaxation, or have much deeper, better sleep? Well, I've got a program that is scientifically proven to do all of that through the established technology of neural brainwave entrainment. And all you need to do to make it work is put on a set of headphones. It's called the Learning Genius Toolkit. I sell it all day long, guys, for $427. But today, if you join Ultimate Self-Mastery, I'm giving you that for free as well. And I'm not making this up. This is not overinflated promises and bullshit. Yeah, you could go to my website right now, and click on the special offer. And buy this at $427. Now, just stop for a second. Imagine the difference just this one program will make to your life in your personal growth library for the rest of your life. Imagine you'll be able to turn on your genius anytime you want it. Be able to get into a super focused state to get that project done without any distractions. Banish data for later from your life. Don't imagine. Teach your brain to act on good decisions, and it's yours. And that brings us to the very last bonus I'm going to give you. I'm being completely truthful, guys. The real reason I'm trying to give you all of this away and offer so much value is twofold. The first is because of how this industry has treated us in the past. No more of this guy. Instead, I want to make this the most amazing value-packed offer you're ever going to see online. I want you to be our next 5-star review. And the second and bigger reason is because of the current global climate. I know there's a ton of people struggling out there right now. You may be one of them. And I have confidence that what's going to get us through this and into a better future for all of us is more people showing up as the best version of themselves. One of the fastest ways to handle that is to quickly upgrade your relationship to money and get some cash in your pocket. So as an amazing final cherry on the cake, do you remember the How to Start a Business with No Money program that completely reinvents your relationship to money? This is where you're going to learn everything that I know about making money in easy bite-sized lessons. Not only has it given me a multi-million-dollar lifestyle since my early 20s, but more importantly, guys, it has allowed me to make it back faster each time I lost it. Because yes, I make mistakes too. But using what you're about to learn, I've always bounced back stronger. Would you like to know how to program your mind to automatically do that? I mean, wouldn't that be an insanely useful skill to have? And remember, this program is not about business. That's just one of the cool things you'll learn. It's about putting you on a fast track from scarcity to abundance. And it's also the reason I can guarantee you'll earn, attract, or save an extra $1,000 minimum in your first 90 days if you apply what you learn. And yes, if you act now, I'm going to include this whole program for you as one of your free gifts. That's really my best offer. So grab it now by clicking the button. And if you don't, there's probably one reason I can think of only, and that is, be honest. You're saying, yeah, I want it, but Pete, I still can't afford it. Guys, if that is you, listen carefully. Whenever you say, I can't afford it, your brain stops working. That pattern alone is probably keeping you stuck in scarcity, by the way. It's linked to unconscious brakes and beliefs around money. Instead, when we ask, how can I afford it? Your brain is put to work and you start looking for a plan B. And as it happens, I already have one for you. Because wouldn't it suck to miss out on this because your old self had put you in a position where you couldn't even afford the ladder that would allow you to climb out of that kind of financial hole? Even this golden ladder, I'm offering at a wooden price. Well, if that's you, the good news is I got you covered. So I'm not having anybody wanting to leave this today without wanting to get this if you want it. I care too much about your future, and so should you. So when you click to order now, you'll go to the page that has this incredible offer with all the bonuses and the Learning Genius Toolkit and the How to Start a Business with No Money, all for just $349. But underneath, you'll also see, for those who are struggling right now but still want this, I've given a monthly option at $49. It gives you the same full access to the entire program, but paying monthly. And you can click and cancel or pause it anytime, no pedal. It's not a payment plan. It's a pay-as-you-go. The only caveat with this, guys, and please forgive me this, but I'm being serious here, it does not include the Learning Genius Toolkit or the How to Start a Business with No Money, or the private one-on-one for the first 50 people. I can't give those away for a $49 commitment. That's fair. Right? Work with me here. So for the final time before we wrap up and go to questions, here is your ultimate self-mastery solution. You have the complete 1-year 4-phase ultimate self-mastery program valued at $2,259. You get the full straight talk collection valued at $1,294. You get me to coach you live for a whole year. The insanely good Upgrade Your Peer Group Masterclass, the entire Learning Genius Toolkit, the amazing How to Start a Business with No Money. And if you're a fast action taker, you also get a free strategy session with one of my trained coaches to start you on the right foot and set you up to win. You get everything for just $349, which is $49 a month if you don't want the last 3 bonuses. In fact, wow, honestly, when I put it like that, it's the best offer I've ever given in 30 years for anything. And all you need to do is click the button, and I can leave that offer live while we go to Q&A for the next 15 minutes, and then we're out of here, guys. So let's go some questions. I know some of you have typed them in already. I'm going to have my team relay them on screen here so we can go through them, and then we're going to start the offer timer, and then we're going to get out of here. So when does it start? I believe was the first question come up. Yep. There we are. This starts when you do. The people that you saw that are transformed in the first 7 days last week are now on week 2. You join at week 1. They're going to be on week 3 next week when you're on week 2. It's a program that you just join and the train keeps going at your pace. Now, the good news is that we all get together on the last Thursday of the month, this Thursday coming, for our monthly power coaching. And what's great about that is you get to see the level of transformation from people that are further down the train tracks, and it really reinforces your ability to say, I'm sticking in the game. Next question, what's the difference between the annual and the monthly? There is no difference, right? Apart from the fact you don't get the bonuses. Right? It's the same program. It's not like a part membership. It's not a tease. No, I want to give you everything that if you pay annual for. Now, obviously, the difference is if you're paying monthly, it's $49 for the year. Each month. If you're paying annually, it works out at $29 for the year. So it's kind of like buying 7 months and getting 5 for free. That's, I want to reward people that make that commitment. How soon before I can expect results? Guys, remember, sprinters fail, marathoners win. All right, there's no quick fix, but you did see from the testimonials, people have some huge shifts from the first piece of content. In fact, the first piece of content you're going to get today, influencers rave about this. People that have gone through it, it's their favorite piece of personal growth. Now, in fact, I don't want to give too much away because I want to leave the surprise for you. But here's the thing. I had a private client. His name was Assad. And remember, my private clients pay me $10,000 a month. That's 120 grand a year. If they pay a year up front, it's 100 grand a year. Now, he was, before this, he went and started a business, put a lot of money in, his own, a lot of investors' money, and he couldn't make it work. And after trying his heart out, he was driving to a meeting with his investors to essentially say he's going to close the business. He was listening to lesson 1 that you're about to get, on the way to the meeting, he tells the story. He was so inspired, he saw things from such a different shift that he walked into the meeting, and instead of saying we're quitting, he's walked in saying we're turning this thing around. Within 12 months, he wins the industry's top award, and it had such an impact. He calls me and says, I'm a private client. Here's 10 grand. That's my first calls. Yeah, and you're going to get that same session that had the biggest shift for him today. Anyway, you get the idea. But yeah, I don't want to set you up to fail by mismanaging your expectations. But the first 30 days, if you just got $49 to try this out, the first 30 days, you're getting 4, actually 5, because it's a surprise, incredible pieces of content it'll be #1 in your personal growth library. Anyway, you can tell I'm getting exciting. I'm speeding up. Let me have a look. What's next? I booked the strategy session. Well, this is a big part of the success plan for the first 50 people. When you sign up, you'll get an onboarding email. There'll be a link in there to book. There'll also be a little questionnaire to take, because what we found is that we don't want you to play the joker too soon, right? I mean that by, we're giving you something that can have a big impact. But if we think that your place in your personal growth journey or current situation isn't enough to take advantage of it, we may ask you to say, hey, listen, you've got one of the slots, but we advise you to go another month into the program, 2 months into the program, and then you've got a foundation which we can build momentum with. Right, so trust us on when the best timing for that will be, based upon a lot of the history that we've built experience from, guys. Yeah, for all of you, most people get it in the first week or two, but trust us on that. If it comes back and says, hey, we've got best time is we'll contact you in a month, 2 months, play the game with me. What about the other gifts? Oh yes, I promised everybody who stayed to the end an amazing gift. Now here's all of the gift that everybody's going to get. Right? And I chose this carefully. It's actually premium content. When you sign up for Ultimate Self-Mastery, you will get the email, you'll get the logins, and you'll go and you'll see 2 things. The first is the welcome video. It's a 20-minute video that I've designed specifically to set you up to win on understanding the program and how to get the most out of it. However, there's also a lot in that video that breaks down an understanding of how negative habits or positive habits are formed and how to pick the right ones. And what I've done is I've taken that on a separate link, taken away the paywall, and I'm going to send you all an email after this that'll allow every single one of you to watch that video, because there's some great stuff in. You'll also have a link to download the slides, as I promised today as well. Now, for those that are still on the fence, you'll get more of an insight into the course. But the real reason I want to send it to you is because there's some really good content. It'll give you a flavor for that, but it'll allow you to go out and not get hooked into the cell inertia on the negative habits. So that is my gift to all of you. You can't buy that unless you join the program. But for everybody that showed up today, I'm giving it to you for free, even if you don't buy the program. Right now, that doesn't mean to say you're going to buy the program. Right? Don't do it. Trust me. Right? I'm sharing with you the onboarding video because there's some really cool stuff in there as a thank you, because you'll understand the language that I'm using because you've been through this training. Yeah, that makes sense.